January came and went by, and I didn't even realize where a single hour of that went. I was sick for 3 days, which is why I was MIA from YouTube. But I understand that is not an excuse, and in my defense, all I can say is that I went into hibernation. You see, I'm part panda, so I'm entitled to half a hibernation, if you're catching my drift. But I got better a few weeks ago and I was planning on doing this video, but then I thought, if we really want to seriously do this, why not wait it out until it's my mom's birthday and upload it then? So today is my mom's birthday and I'm uploading it now. And I know it sounds really stupid and silly and childish that I was waiting for it to be my mom's birthday to upload my next video. But if you know me, I don't think you'll be surprised. Hey guys, this is the Panda Baby, and after I uploaded my last video, a lot of people came to me and asked me if I have some tips for them to finish the books that they have already started. I can understand that a lot of time starting a new book is not as difficult as maintaining your interest in that book or reaching to the last page or the last word of that book. So, today I am here to tell you how you can read more books, maintain your interest in them, and actually finish a lot of them. If you can recollect watching Endgame, you'd remember the fact that for entire 3 hours, none of us felt like leaving our seats and going and doing something else while we were having that movie on. And if you cannot relate to anything I just said, please don't watch any further. I don't want you to watch any more of this video before you end up finishing watching Endgame first. If you haven't watched Endgame yet, you should be really ashamed of your existence. And I mean it. Just like the entire Endgame plot was trying to build up to the iconic Iron Man snap moment, the same thing happens with a work of fiction. A work of fiction is basically a long story that has a lot of intricate details about the characters, about the plot, so it keeps you hooked onto it. And until and unless you are done with the story, you don't feel like leaving that book, just like we didn't feel like leaving our seats. Which is why I always recommend beginners to read work of fiction first before they jump onto a work of non-fiction. Because a work of fiction is supposed to be engaging and entertaining, it is written in a more fluid manner. It is written in a way that would have you hooked onto it until and unless the story is done being told. But when you start off with something as dense as non-fiction, dense in the sense that it is supposed to impart knowledge or new insights onto its reader, it can get a little taxing after a while to remain immersed in it and continue reading on to the next chapter. So, if you are someone who wants to make reading a habit, I would highly recommend you to explore work of fiction first before you navigate your ways through work of non-fiction. And only move to non-fiction once you feel very comfortable enough in your reading habits. I know recommending you to read a thin book seems a little counterintuitive, but if you think about it, the sense of accomplishment that you will get after finishing two thin books will definitely outweigh the disappointment that you would face while you are unable to finish one thick book. And if you think about it, telling someone that you have read two or three books seems much more satisfying and much more fulfilling than telling someone that you're only halfway through a book, no matter how thick or how famous that book is. Since you're watching this video and have made so far into it, I think I can safely assume you're not here just because you like to hear me ramble, but because you're actually serious about making reading a day to day habit of your life. Since any habit requires time and effort on our part to make it a part of our life, it helps immensely if you can set aside some time and some space in your daily schedule for reading.
And by dedicated time and space, I don't mean a shabby loft in a galaxy far, far away, where there is no soul to be seen, because you're coming here after wiping half of the civilization. Yes, I'm a big time Marvel fan, get over it.
I mean, any place where you can flip through your book peacefully without any distractions, and a place that definitely is far, far away from your mobile phone. What I like to do whenever I want to finish a book is I keep that book next to my pillow on my bed so that before going to sleep, I knock off a couple of chapters every day or every night. And even if I don't knock off a couple of chapters, I at least make sure that I knock off a couple of pages from it. Additionally, to minimize any sort of distraction, I put my phone on flight mode whenever I am reading so that I can peacefully enjoy my book with minimum distractions. I mean, there are always going to be some distraction. All we can do is to minimize them as much as we can. Who here has started watching a Marvel movie and stopped midway?
Oh, teacher, me!
You're a burden on our planet. You should be really, really ashamed of yourself. It's because of people like you that one day humanity is going to come to an end. But since you're watching my videos, I'll let this one slide. And in my opinion, you should stand in a corner and reflect on what you have done. But a lot of times, we all have been guilty of buying a book and not finishing it up. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know, there are times that you buy a book with a lot of excitement, but midway through it, you realize it's not as good as you built it in your head and it's not as appealing to you any longer. So, if that's the case with any of the books that you're currently reading, I would recommend you to shelf that book and not feel guilty about not having finished it. It's not like you are some mad titan running from galaxy to galaxy, wiping out half of the population. You ain't doing that. So, as long as shelving your book does not require you to wipe out half of a population or civilization, or you are midway on your journey of collecting all the 5 infinity stones, it's okay to shelf your book. But in case you are hellbent on finishing that book or wiping out half of a civilization, I would recommend you to go on the internet and look up some random terms or the name of the chapter and find out some interesting tidbits about it so that it can help you reignite your interest in the book. Rereading your favorite books is one of the few pleasures that are worth your time. It's right up there with eating pizza on 2 consecutive days and rewatching all your favorite Marvel movies. Rereading your favorite book is like rewatching your favorite Marvel movie. It's not that you didn't understand the plot in one go, it's just that rewatching it or revisiting the same can help you find Easter eggs that are interspread across the movie. The same thing happens with your book. The favorite book that you have, if you revisit that book, if you reread that book, you'll find a lot of information and a lot of insights about the characters, about the story that you missed out on earlier. So, even if you like a book that you have already read, revisiting the same can definitely add value to your time. My favorite fiction book of all time is The Fountainhead, and I've read this book 4 times. Although it is pretty thick, and I have already read it 4 times, revisiting it never feels enough. So, if you have a favorite book, don't shy away from revisiting it and rereading it multiple times. And no matter how many times you read your favorite book, it never seems enough. Believe me, when you find your favorite book, you will come to understand the gravity of my statement. But unless and until you do, well, you got to explore. So, those were all my tips and suggestions for anyone who wants to read more and wants to maintain their interest in the books that they are reading. If you found this video helpful, please like this video and share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel. It would help me a lot.
Seven days, 7 nights since my head got cut and died. and I